Shalom, Yahuwah. This your brother Dawadah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I just want to do this real quick video dealing with basically the economy and the ties with the economy. Basically, and this lesson is dealing with the American economy, but ultimately the global economy. All right, because I've been touching on this, every so often in these videos concerning this coronavirus and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, just like all the other things that we've been saying, like the scriptures say, though it tarry, wait for it, it shall surely come. It shall not tarry, And the Lord has us out here basically, letting you know the things that's coming. We told you about the uprisings of the people, wars and rumors of wars, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places, as the scriptures say. And now all these things are starting to, starting to take place and manifest now, all right? And now these people are running around and, at first, everybody was all laughing and joking here in America until you had these multiple cases of the coronavirus drop down here in America, And now, was it last week or the end of last week or the end of the week before, or, going into last week, basically, you seen the stock market just start dropping, all right, like crazy, I believe it was like 3,000 points that it wound up dropping, and a lot of people, you still have some of these proud ass Edomites or whatever, whatnot, you talk to a lot of these Edomites that know a little something about the stock market or whatever, whatnot, if you're talking from Jake's perspective versus Esau's perspective, it's like, well, Jake, we don't really want to put our money into that because you might lose some money or whatever, whatnot, and we don't really have that kind of money nor time to invest money like that for a long haul, you know what I'm saying, just to make, a small percentage onto that money, and if the stock market wind up crashing, that's not that's not like a little money that we can take and just go, go spend on some bullshit, pretty much every dollar that we have is already accounted for, whether it be bills, food, or whatever, just a regular cost of living. However, like I said, you talk to some of these Edomites and they'll be like, oh, well, this happens all the time. The stock market has been climbing steadily over the last so many years and so on and so forth, which you're right. The stock market on paper, you have to understand there's a difference of what they saying and what's on paper. All right. And the reality of what's really going on. All right. Because I can show you on paper. Yeah, the stock market is actually doing pretty good. The stock market is doing phenomenally good on paper. All right. If you was to look at the charts and everything like that, you go back 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and you look at the stock market, it's on a, they even speak on it in this here video. They make a statement basically saying, the stock market is akin to, it's like taking the stairs up and an elevator down, Now the stock market has these drop-offs and these falls and so-called, crashes or whatever, whatnot, but it's surrounded by, gains and everything like that. So if you was to look at like a 10-year chart of the stock market, all right, and you go back to a little bit more than 10 years, but you go back to the 2008 crash, you'll see before the 2008 crash, all right, the stock market was steadily climbing up, and then it had that big massive drop off. All right, now if you was to look at it just in that time frame alone, like if you were living in that time frame and you were looking at the stock market in real time, it would look like everything is going bad. It's like, oh, which it was, everything went bad. The stock market just dropped off. But now if you go again, look at it like a 15-year chart, you know what I'm saying? You would just basically see like a V shape, stock market immediately dropped down, but then it climbed right back up. It's actually up a lot higher than what it was before 2008. So, some people are like, oh, what is that? These Edomites will say, oh, well, this happens all the time, but it always bounced back. We always still making money. So it's all good, But nevertheless, this is, you have to understand what's really going on. Like I said, Donald Trump and you have to be mindful of these things like this, when they make these statements. You have to understand when people are speaking, who is speaking, who they speaking to, and what is their agenda for these things, For instance, Donald Trump talk about how he's fixing the economy and so on and so forth. The economy is at the best, whatever, whatnot. Well, you have to take into account that Barack Obama actually did some things in office that didn't take place until after Donald Trump actually got in office. Pretty much every president does this. They'll make certain changes or certain laws or whatever, whatnot. They don't take place, until a year or two after they're out of office. So some of that you could put on to Barack Obama as the so-called economy look like it's coming back, but not trying to put that on big up Barack Obama. I'm just using that as an example of how you have to really, there's a difference between what they talking about and the reality of it is. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Donald Trump can say, or vice versa, like I believe when Obamacare actually took place or took action, I think when Obama was still in office, but there was another part of the Obamacare situation that didn't take effect until after Donald Trump got in office. So for instance, let's just say they did something that the majority of people deemed drastically bad, right? Let's just say hypothetically Barack Obama wrote up Obamacare, which really fucks up the economy, all right? But nevertheless, they don't enact that while he's in office, so the economy on paper is still looking good. Now, Donald Trump gets into office 2 years down the road, now that Obamacare is starting to take effect now it's taking its toll on the economy. Again, on paper, looking at it, oh, well, shit, this shit happened on Donald Trump's watch. But no, it didn't really happen on Donald. It happened on his watch, but who implemented that, This is like a slow release situation, all right? So, when they talk about, oh, well, the economy's getting better, so on and so forth. Well, Donald Trump ain't really doing shit to make the economy any kind of better, all right? But nevertheless, they'll also say things like, oh, we're creating all these jobs or whatever, whatnot. There's more jobs created now, and less people are unemployed now than it was beforehand. Like, well, on paper, yeah, that is true. But that's not the reality of it is, because like, I want to say when Barack Obama was in office, I'm not sure if they had Uber and Lyft and shit like that, but nevertheless, let's just say it wasn't, right? Or when George Bush was in office, they definitely didn't have all that shit back then. But now when Donald Trump is in office, all right, well, yeah, let's say in the Bush era, in the Obama era, they wound up shipping a lot of these jobs overseas, really in the Bush era, and a little bit before that, they shipped a lot of these not office jobs, really a lot of the office jobs as well too, but a lot of these manufacturing jobs overseas, and Barack Obama finished it off in the 2008 crash, So this is why, a lot of people are unemployed and so on and so forth. I remember living through that 2008 crash, and actually before that, a little bit before that, like I said, well, it actually started with George Bush, right before George Bush was actually leaving office, because if you were old enough and paying taxes at that point in time, you'll realize and remember that you actually got bailed out by George Bush first. He actually wrote you a personal check that you got with your name on it, and you went to go and cash it. I think it was like $700 or $800 that everybody in America who filed taxes basically got. And then Barack Obama came back with the second one, but he gave that to the banks, basically, So really the economy was already crashing, all these jobs were being shipped overseas and so on and so forth. But lo and behold, now you have this huge pool of people that are unemployed because of that. Now, lo and behold, Donald Trump coming to office, and, just how things was going to take place. You have these new companies like Uber and Lyft, all right, popping up. Well, I don't know about Airbnb, if you can classify that, but, you have jobs like Uber and Lyft, all, how they'll say like this is a gig-like economy, all right? So, yeah, like you had all these unemployed people. Let's just say hypothetically, you had this factory that shut down, right? Now, this factory had 100 employees. Now, all these employees are unemployed. So now your unemployment rate is you got 100 people unemployed, right? So your unemployment rate is super high up. But guess what? Now, all of a sudden, we got Uber and Lyft. So now these 100 people, you know what I'm saying? They didn't went, 90 of these people went and started driving for Uber and Lyft, right? So now, on paper, you can say, well, shit. I mean, 100 people lost their jobs, but 90 of them got jobs back. You know what I'm saying? Only 10 people are without jobs. So the economy is doing good. People are employed again. The unemployment rate has went down. Yeah, on paper, the unemployment rate has gone down. More people are employed at this point in time, but are they, they have a term called underemployed, or how they say overqualified or underemployed, a lot of times they like to tell Jake that they overqualified for jobs, but really to be overqualified for a job means like, all right, you went to college, got a college degree for, let's just say, to be a heart surgeon, right? And you was working as a heart surgeon for so long or whatever, whatnot, that's what you got your degree in, business, finance, or whatever you got your degree in, engineering, you was doing that as a job, but now all of a sudden you lost your job and now you're working at McDonald's, all right? So now you're actually overqualified for the job position that you have. This is an entry-level job. Anybody in high school or right out of high school can go apply and get a job at McDonald's, but you done went to college and got your master's degree or whatever degree, your engineering degree or whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But you over here working at McDonald's, all right? So you overqualified for their job, all right? Or if the other way is you underemployed, again, for the same sense of you used to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that, or manufacturer, working a manufacturing job or whatever, whatnot, used to make like 90,000, 100,000 a year, something like that. But now you lost that job, all right, and you've been unemployed for so long, unemployment rate went up. But guess what? They created all these new jobs. They got, technically you got like an unlimited supply of jobs if you got a car and a cell phone. Everybody in America that's of working age could technically have a job. Shit, as long as you got a car, you know what I'm saying? And really, if you over what 25 in most places, you can go rent a car and go do some damn Uber. You know what I'm saying? But are you really employed or are you underemployed? All right, because your income before that, was you was getting paid for manufacturing and things like that. You were being paid to be a doctor or a nurse or something like that. But now all of a sudden, you working for Uber and Lyft. All right, you went from making a 6-figure income to making 15,000-20,000 a year driving Uber and Lyft. So you have to take those things into account. So when people sit there and say, it's real retarded when you hear, especially Jake want to act like they politicians or know anything about politics, economies, and things like that. Oh, the economy doing good, especially if you listen to these Edomites. These Edomites, they just gonna get along with the go along. They want to just kind of like, how do I say, ignore a lot of things, just pacify a lot of things. Oh no, everything's gonna be good. Everything's gonna be good. That's the part of their heart has deceived them. But dealing with you, Jake, a lot of you, Jake, will be hearing that and keep repeating that. Oh, the economy's doing way better. Like I know my mom is like that. My mom will hear certain things on the news and shit like that. Like, well, they got this and they got that shit. Wawa or, the gas station is hiring. They got a now hiring sign over there. Or, you can go do Uber and Lyft. Like, motherfucker, look, wait a minute. I was just making like $90,000 a year at this here factory job. You know what I'm saying? Now my bills and stuff, my cost of living is according to that. You may have a house, some kids, a family, cars, car notes, and whatnot that you're over here paying for. All right, then all of a sudden, now you don't have that source of income to sit there and supplement that lifestyle that you were living. And I'm not saying that you live in a lifestyle like you some rapper or something like that, driving Rolls Royces and Maybachs and shit like that. Now all of a sudden, you got to move to a 2-story, 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house with a pool on a lake. We're not saying like that, you know what I'm saying? But we saying just pretty much like in the sense of your normal cost of living. You can't even live in a goddamn apartment, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people have this twisted, as long as you have a job, you're doing good. I remember when I was a lot younger, I was like that. Oh, as long as I got a job, I'm good. And I learned real quick, within my 2nd, 3rd year of working that, you got to have a job that kind of means something, all right? You can't just be having a job just to say you employed and then wondering why you live in paycheck to paycheck. And then at that point, you want to start blaming the so-called white man for that. Well, that ain't really the so-called white man's fault with that. You have to expand your education and not really your education, but your thought process. Like, stop trying to work at the outlet mall or the mall or the McDonald's or the gas station and go work at like a factory or some shit. Go get a job with benefits or something like that. Then you'll be making more money, The starting out wage, like, let's say for where we living at out here in Florida, like, they'll start you out at like $15 an hour, you know what I'm saying? Opposed to you making $7.50 an hour over there at the damn outlet mall or some shit like that, And you thinking in your mind, oh, because I have a job or whatever, So a lot of Jacob like, oh, well, they got all these jobs. You can drive Uber, you could drive Lyft, you can do this. Is like, motherfucker, I got a mortgage I got to pay for. This shit is not really, you see some people doing this now, driving Uber and Lyft, but this is a 2nd and 3rd job. You got doctors and nurses and shit like that, lawyers and shit, driving Uber and Lyft, but this is a 3rd or 4th job just to, make ends meet. But again, you can't be listening to them when they be talking about shit like this. You have to actually understand what's going on to see what's really popping off. Just like with the stock market thing. On paper, it looked like everything is all good. They just had a drop off, but shit, the shit bouncing back, we all good. This is all artificial. There is no money in the stock market. America went bankrupt in 2008. Well, before 2008 with George Bush. All right, September 11th, really, that's when they started stealing, building 7. We're not going to go too far into that, where all the records was when they stole all the damn money. All right, and the gold that was up under the World Trade Center and everything like that, and couldn't nobody find the money no more, account for that money. But nevertheless, what's going on with this here stock market, all right? Matter of fact, I'm going to play a couple, like a minute of this here video and let them explain it, because I've already explained this, because same thing is going on. They're just manipulating this by printing money and putting it into the stock market, make it look like the stocks are going up, but you're not really your stocks aren't really going up, man, all right? So here's a little bit of this video. Lord willing, you'll be able to hear it.
Now, remember how the market went down 3,500 points last week? We were covering it all week long. Well, today, it finally went back up. Didn't make up all 3,500 points, but it did gain more than 1,000 points, and that's a good thing, right? Now, I know what you're thinking.
So in that sense, again, like I said, it looked good on paper. You know what I'm saying? You looking at the charts and so on and so forth. Yeah, it looked good. You know what I'm saying? Just like how Esau like to deal with us, Why don't you just go and apply for a good job and so on and so forth? Like, yeah, but the skin that I'm in, when they looking at me, I got to go to y'all to go get a job. And it's under y'all discretion. in y'all kingdom whether or not y'all gonna, give it to us like that, So-called white boy could tell you, oh yeah, I cuss out the police or whatever, whatnot. Let Jake try that if they want to. Let Jake just try to get a little loud with him, like, yo, you mind if I search your car? Like, actually, I do mind if you search my car. Oh, that give me probable cause. You trying to hide something. Esau can say that, fuck you, you're not doing shit to me, bro. I know my rights. And they just get away with it. They don't work for everybody, man. All right? In reality, this is what's really going on. So you have a situation of what's going on paper, what sounds good, and then the reality of the situation, all right?
Probably thinking that if it was the coronavirus that triggered the panic selling that took place last week, then the fact that the market is going up today must mean that fears of the coronavirus pandemic are finally easing, right? No.
And that's also another thing you have to watch out for, because right now what Esau is ultimately doing is these elites have pretty much put all their money out of the stock market, right? Going back to, again, September 11th is when they started pulling all their money out of the stock market, all right? And I believe it was either the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers who basically got out of all the oil business. Like, they're not in the oil business no more at all. That should be a big sign. If the people that's up on top of running everything, they decide to get out of a business, if they want to move out of this here building, you probably don't want to go buy that building, all right? Because that's a golden chicken that's laying golden eggs. And if they giving up that golden chicken with the golden eggs, there's something wrong with that chicken. Maybe he all out of golden eggs, But nevertheless, this is something that you have to be mindful for, because you have these things like Stash, Acorns, and these other little small apps that they trying to get Jake to go into. Anybody can invest now. Investing is made more easy now. Getting you Jakes to put your money into there to so-called prop up the stock market. And if you're a so-called smart dumb nigga, you might be like, oh shit, stock market is, well, in reality, that's the best time to really buy, is when the stock market is crashing. All right, when you see the stocks is in the red and they all bad, that's actually the best time to buy the stock, because really it can still go down, but it's gonna go up from there. That's where you make your profits. You don't go buy a stock when it's at its peak or it's at its height, because it's only gonna go down from there. You're gonna lose money. You're gonna buy it high and then you're gonna want to wind up having to sell it low. You want to buy when it's low, all right, when the stock is crashing, or if it's in a bad shape, or if it's just starting out, and then once it gets back up good, then that's when you want to sell it. All right, so just because you seeing this, oh shit, the stock market just took a dip, let me go and try to invest some money real quick before it start jumping back up. Because literally, you could have made your little flip real quick. Once it dropped them 3,000 points, started investing in certain things. Now that it gained 1,000 points or whatever, they could have pulled your money out, made you a little piece of change. But ultimately, this is all a trap and a trick. But looking at this is showing you that basically America is been far gone bankrupt, and this economy has already crashed. But because they keep talking about a bubble, it just ain't popped yet. You just ain't quite. The majority of Americans are feeling it, living paycheck to paycheck. Everybody's underemployed or whatever, whatnot. But hey, it's gonna be a lot worse than this, man. All right.
Interesting conclusion, but it's wrong. Wrong. The reason the market is going up today does not mean the coronavirus situation has eased or is even under control. In fact, there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. The reason the market is up has more to do with what is basically artificial manipulation. Necessary? Maybe. Still artificial. It's not market driven. So here's what made the market go up. The Fed is going to print more money, send it to the banks to cover their loans, and then voila! Guess what they're going to do? They're going to lower interest rates by a half point probably this week, and then maybe another half point sometime next month.
So, couple things there. All right. So, like you heard him say, this is exactly what they're doing. They're printing money, all right, and investing that money immediately into the stock market. All right, and then they also giving money to these banks to cover their loans and everything like that. Like, yo, why come when Jake tap out and he broke, they don't just print up some money and then you go to the ATM machine, you keep hitting the green button and just your money keep going up, and you just go right back out and spend again, If you put it in that perspective, you're like, yeah, this is retarded. Ain't nobody gonna do that shit for you. But this is how America as a government is what they actually doing. All right, and then they suckering you people into this here stock market, just like the 2008 crash with the housing market. All right, they was telling you, oh, it's all good. Come on, we got these subprime mortgages, which you should understand by the title of that. Subprime is not, it's under prime. You want prime USDA prime beef, that good beef, top of the line, or do you want that subprime beef, like that McDonald's beef? You see what I'm saying? When you understand it like that, you're like, oh hell no, I don't want no subprime loan. All right, these high rates or whatever, whatnot. But what they did was They started loaning out all these, or giving out all these mortgages to basically Jake and whoever was dumb enough to take those things. All right, and then manipulated it so that the interest rates on it was super high, and they wound up losing everything. So let's say you started out, you only had a $20 bill on you, right? You was gonna take that 20 and invest 10 of those $20 and trying to come up off of that 10, trying to flip that 10. But now, you know, you invested that 10 and then you wind up losing $50. Like, wait a minute, I only started with $20, but now I'm negative $50 in the hole. Bruh, they wind up taking everything that you had, and now you in a deficit, and it's harder for you to try to make a flip now, because any dollar that you want to get in, you know what I'm saying? It's like you overdrafting your bank account. Now you go to your bank account, you get your, let's say your paycheck $500, right? And you $600 in the hole in the bank, you know what I'm saying? And you go get direct deposit. As soon as your check hit the bank account, you know what I'm saying? You still in negative. You negative $100, you know what I'm saying? But you ain't got none of your money in there, you know? But ultimately, this is what's going on, is they're printing this here money, putting it inside of the stock market, giving it to these banks, all right, so they can feed their loans. But there's really no money really going in. And then at the same time, they're enticing, Jake basically, because they're the only ones dumb enough to try to invest some money like that into the stock market, trying to get them to prop their money up to make it look good. As long as the stock market is looking good and look like people are still putting their money into it, then people are how do I say, are more likely to start investing into it, But if they was like, well, ain't nobody else buying this shit, just like VCRs right now, even if Best Buy was selling VCRs or Walmart was selling VCRs on their shelf, the smart person would look around in the movie section to see how they selling movies. All right, like when I go to the movie shelf, all I see is DVDs. I don't see no VHSs. You know what I'm saying? And everybody now got these smart TVs and they streaming movies off the internet. All right, so why would I want to invest into a damn VCR? Okay, if this is pretty much obsolete, I'm just wasting my money here into something that ain't gonna bring me back no money, right? I can't use this. I'm just wasting money now. All right, but what they're doing is making the illusion. It's like, all right, well, shit, we trying to get rid of these VCRs or whatever, whatnot. Like, come up with some kind of promotion over there. They coming back. You got vintage VHSs. You got this whole wall of VHS tapes or whatever, whatnot, to make the person like, well, shit, I can get this VCR for $10 and I can go get me 50 movies for $5. That's the come up, bruh. To make, and that's how they trick people into certain things like that, And that's exactly what's going on with this stock market. They're manipulating by printing more money into it. And you see, again, on paper, the charts, they skyrocketing. They going up, going up, going up. If you go back to a 15-year view of it, you just see this constantly going up. You're like, why would a dumb person like, yo, why would I not want to invest into this? I can only make money with this. But ultimately, this is the end all be all, man. Once they pull the plug, they're gonna take everything from everybody, man. You're gonna lose your whole everything in this whole situation, man. All right, these businesses, that's why all these businesses are shutting down and everything like that, man. All right, they ain't got no money. They going bankrupt. All right.
So why are they doing that? They're doing it for one reason.
Oh, and also that lowering the interest rate, right? Now, these banks and these companies, they make their money off of the interest, all right? But now, they, I believe they're going to tell you in here, I believe it might not even be that same country, but it was another country that went to a negative interest rate where they was basically paying you to come take a loan. Now, imagine that with AMSCOT, right? You go to AMSCOT, you get you, let's say, $400. They charge you $25, right? So you borrow $400, you got to pay back $425. Amazon or what they call AMSCOT is making $25 off you every time you borrow money, which that's a legitimate business. But now imagine how long AMSCOT will be in business. All right, now with that $25, they got to pay for their rent, overhead, employees, and everything else like that. Now imagine AMSCOT, all right, loaning you that same $400, but instead of you paying them $25 for the loan, they're gonna pay you $25 to borrow that money. All right, so it's like, yo, every time you have a line of people now that just want some damn money, it's like, well, if every time I borrow money, I'm gonna make me $25, all I gotta do is pay you back the $400. You know what I'm saying? I walk away with a $25 plus in my pocket, bro. We can't beat that. Everybody would be going to the bank and trying to get money, but what? Ultimately, AMSCOT would be out of business because they can't pay their bills because they ain't making no income. They're paying you to use their services. All right, so and this is what's, this economy is globally is all fucked up. And it just talks about how this could also lead to a cashless society or major disruption of where they can implement their chip.
And one reason only: to rescue the stock market. To rescue the stock market. So,
and it's funny how they have this cloaked in this here coronavirus situation. It's the perfect time for them to be doing this because, like I said, this whole shit has been over with since like George Bush was in office. That's why he gave you that stimulus package to begin with, all right? Because the shit was already collapsing. All right, then Barack Obama, under his presidency, it collapsed even more. All right, but this time it's not gonna be no bailout in this situation. They ain't got the money to bail them out. That's why they printing the money, man. That's why they had those repos at the end of the last year where they was depositing like $100 million overnight every single night for like 3 or 4 months, man. All right, because they ain't got no damn money, man. They got to keep printing up fake money. They got to keep making counterfeit money, basically. But I'm gonna jump into hang on.
Is the coronavirus still spreading? Well, yeah, unfortunately it is. The science says that anyway. South Korea, Iran, Italy, France, Germany, now the United States, all the governments are trying to come up with a way of stopping the virus from spreading. And the way they're doing it is, of course, by trying to figure out who was the first one who had it or who got it and then passed it on to somebody else. But in places like the United States, where there are now 96 cases, 5 fatalities, health officials are discovering that the virus may have been spreading in some of those affected communities for the past 6 weeks without people even knowing that they had it. Most of the people thinking maybe all I have is a common cold. So how many new cases are coming down the pike?
Like I spoke about that in previous videos when I was, talking about the actual coronavirus situation, man. All right, this thing is spreading throughout the whole globe, man. This is a global situation, but it's ultimately the Most High bringing this here judgment, man. Everybody's being forced to deal with this, man. All right, so you have to understand and recognize the times that we're living in. This ain't just something that's fly by night or whatever, whatnot. Oh, it's gonna bounce back. No, the Most High is purposely doing these things. All right, it's on such a large scale because you have situations going off, but like the 1,000+ earthquakes that hit Puerto Rico. But guess what? If you're living over here and you don't watch the news, you don't think that you're affected by that. Oh, well, that's over there. They ain't over here. But guess what? Now the Most High is opening up a can of whoop ass on the whole globe at the same time, but the same thing, man. All right. And it's also, there's other things that's going on with this, not just the people getting infected. All right. Like in this here lesson I'm doing now, this is dealing with the American economy. We're not even talking about the people getting infected and the people that's sick. You know what I'm saying? We're just talking about the American economy and how they cloaking this under this here situation. Because like I said, this market has already crashed, but they needed somebody to blame it on. All right, they're not going to blame it on none of the presidents or whatever, whatnot. Maybe when they get out of office, but they're not going to blame it on the presidents. Now they got something where they can be like, well, the coronavirus did it. This is not a real person to blame it. Just the coronavirus did it. People were scared of the trade or whatever, whatnot. And people did this, people did that. People took their money out of the stock market. So that's what crashed our economy. Not the fact that, their manipulation and their bad business doing and just the way that they do business is horrible, man. Just like, if, again, you had a business and you paying people. Imagine if your grocery store, right, was paying you to come in there and shop. How long would they be in business if every time, for every item that you buying, whatever it is, if you buying $5 worth of some item, they're going to give you an extra $5. Like, well, we wouldn't be in business. They make their money off of putting a little bit of something on top of whatever it costs them to get something. If it costs them $3 to get this here canned good, they're going to sell for $5, make them $2, They can't be in business paying you to come into their doors in the shop. Right? We give you $500 to come here and shop. And you done came in there and only spent like $100 on some groceries, and you done walked out with an extra $400. The grocery store's not going to be in business very long, man. All right? But, hey, this is how it's affecting not only the economy here, but the economy globally, all right? Real quick, I'm gonna just read through this real quick, because this was all written about, this was all prophesied about, man. And we bring these things out, and now these scriptures are speaking louder and clear now more than ever. In fact, I'm gonna grab that. This is Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch. All right, we watching right now. The watchmen are out there watching and prophesying, man. All right, what are we watching? We watching the news, the state of the environment, more or less to say, what's going on. Like, we up to date on these things, We're not like these Jake that be finding out shit on Facebook and Twitter after they start making memes about it. Oh, shit, what's this coronavirus everybody making memes about or whatever, whatnot. No, we privy to these things. You know what I'm saying? We watching these things. We do our research on these things and find out about these things, So it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what shall I answer when I am reproved. All right. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're watching to see what's going on. All right. And, a big part of this and what separates us from everybody else is like, we're not just watching the news or whatever, whatnot, watching these truther videos or whatever, whatnot, and just repeating what the fuck they saying and just running off. As soon as something happens, no. We actually wait and watch certain things and go into certain things or whatever, whatnot. Like, I know there's a lot of different stories that were coming out. I believe the coronavirus is even one of those, that once it started going out, it was on the mainstream and, things was actually happening in a large way, like, all right, I'll wait for it a little bit and see what's going on with it before I actually just jump in on it and touch in on it. You know what I'm saying? Because you also have that fake news and stuff like that. You have to do your due diligence. You know, a lot of things ain't just quite what it seems. You know, you might be reporting on something, come to find out, oh, we ran a false report, or this video or whatever whatnot was from years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, the Lord is the one that's directing our words and our mouths and the things that we're going into, man, and the information that we pick up, and also giving us the spirit of discernment to either wait and watch, or, you know, not be like these other people, these fly-by-night people who just find another video and watch that and just repeat whatever they say and so on and so forth, you know. Verse 2, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, you know. And what's funny is the laws, statutes, commandments was written on what? Stone tablets back in the days, you know. And nowadays, you know what I'm saying, well, the Bible was written on you know, parchment paper, you know, which basically comes from like trees and wood and stuff like that, you know. We had the whole scriptures instead of a bunch of scrolls inside of, you know, a front and back cover, which we call the Bible, you know. But even how much more now, where we doing these videos and things like that, we're on the highways and the byways and all this studying and the lessons and edification that we bring out, man. All right, it's not like that you have to sit there and read a book for like hours and hours on end, or whatever. What we bring it out, and we, like how the format I'm doing this video now, man. The verses that I'm reading there on screen, you can read it right along with me, man. The article or the videos that I'm going into, you can go right along with it and follow it, man. Then we break it down to you, just like I was saying. You can't go off of what's on paper. You know, yeah, the economy look good on paper, all right, but in reality, it's not really there. So what we're making it plain for you to be able to understand, man, is you can be like, oh, this shit ain't even real, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, and it's pretty much like how I say in layman's terms, it's not all overcomplicated. Like if you listen to these people saying this, and that, you know, it's like Jake saying, so basically what you're saying is y'all ain't got no money. Y'all just making counterfeit money, right? Y'all just printing up some shit, right? Oh, okay, because y'all call it shit like quantitative easing and shit like that. You know, Jake don't understand them terms, but we can understand you printing up some fake money, just throwing that on top. Yeah, we understand that. You know, that's, you know, we make it, how do I say, easy for you to understand, all right? Verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, all right? And the vision is what? Dealing with these here prophecies, all right? The vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come and it will not tarry, all right? And that's what we've been telling you, man. These visions are surely set to come to pass, man, all right? Even though they may seem far off and you may not see it, like we was telling you, yo, these pestilence, these uprisings is coming to America, man. All these things that you're seeing around the world is coming here to America. And people, oh, no, that ain't gonna happen here. Just like the thermonuclear destruction is coming to America. A lot of people don't think that the nukes exist. A lot of people think America has the most superior military on the face of the earth and can't nobody challenge them. And they're gonna just ride off into the sunset like that. But in reality, what's going on, man? All right, all the things that we've been telling you about according to the scriptures is all coming to pass right now. You're living in those days right now, man. All right. So we're gonna go back to where we was gonna grab in Ecclesiastes chapter 12. All right, verse 1. Remember now thy creator in the day of thy youth. All right. So also, like scripture says, seek the Lord early while he may be found, man. You don't want to wait till the last minute to try to find the Lord, find the minute of the Lord. Hey, dealing with the famine of the word, man. You walk by us all the time to camp or whatever, whatnot. You may know us in our personal lives. You may see our videos on YouTube or whatever, whatnot. You may even be a relative, but you like, you know what? I ain't gonna ask this nigga shit right now or whatever, whatnot. Or yeah, I know you might know something, but whatever, whatnot, you know. But then all of a sudden, you know, I know somebody in the world that was like this. You know, they know what I'm into and everything like that or whatever, whatnot, you know. But then all of a sudden, the coronavirus hit down here where we at in the county that we in, you know, and everything like that. And we got one dude in the hospital in the county where we at, and another one up there in Tampa, like where we have camp at, you know. But nevertheless, now this person out of nowhere want to start texting like, yo, did you see this? Whoa, what's going on with this? You know, what does the Bible say about this or whatever, whatnot, you know? It's like, yo, wait a minute. Don't try to jump on the bandwagon now. It's a little too late for you to try to comprehend all these things all of a sudden. You know, you can't just, it's like a test, man. You can't wait until, you know, you walk into the classroom and the teacher's passing out the test and you on the third row, you know, the first person on the third row, and she getting to the end of the second row for you to try to study. It's too late for you to try to cram all this here down, man. You was given 3 weeks to study this here test, man. It's only 4 questions on there. All right, I gave you the answers. I gave you the time to get it. You know what I'm saying? But now, or let's say it's 20 questions on it, you know, you trying to cram all this here information at this here point in time, but it's too late for all that, man. And that's, you know, what's going to wind up happening. That's why the Lord said, hey, the Lord was coming as a thief in the night, you know, catching people off guard. Because why? They, you know, the Lord was calling out to you, but you wanted to ignore him, right? So it says, remember now thy creator in the day of thy youth, all right, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasures in them. All right. So like right now, when you full of your how to call it, you full of your vitality, I guess is the word. You know, where you real lively, got all the energy to be able to do certain things and so on and so forth. You know, because a lot of Jake like to do this, like, you know what, I'm gonna give my life to the Lord when I get old. I'm gonna go do all my dirt and be just a heathen in the streets. But when I get old, that's when I'm gonna give my life to the Lord. That's when I'm gonna slow down and stop being a D-boy and stop being, you know, twerking and stripping and doing all these heathenistic things. You know what I'm saying? And when I get about 65, then I'm gonna go join the church and give my life to the Lord at that point in time. Nah, serve the Lord when you in your youth, you have your fullest strength and everything like that, man. All right. Or also at the same time, seek the Lord early while he may be found, man. Don't wait until the coronavirus is in your neighborhood or in your county or in your school. The kids at the school where your kids go to school at is reporting they got the coronavirus. Now you want to start searching out the men of the Lord, you know, because ultimately the family of the word is going to come to pass. It's going to be like that, man. All right. Verse 2, while the sun or the light of the or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. All right, basically saying seek the Lord before all these trials and tribulations start coming down, man. All right, because ultimately, you know, I ain't gonna speak on how the Lord's gonna save his people, but nevertheless, you know, you got men that's out there putting in that work right now and doing that in spiritual investment right now, man. All right, and this little by little by little, week in, week out, so on and so forth, day in and day out. You know, it's not like, you know what I'm saying, at the end all be all, the last day you're gonna just, that's why no man knows the day of the hour, man. If the Lord said, look, I'm coming December 31st, 2022, right? If he said that, then guess what? The majority of people wouldn't be in the truth all the way up until what? December 28th, 29th, the 30th. You'll have a lot of people coming in on the 30th, you know, and let's just say the Lord said, I'm gonna come back at 7 o'clock. Bro, you'll have a whole lot of people trying to jump in line at 6:30, 6:45, 6:55. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's too late. You got all these paperwork to fill out. You got to go get this here, notarized and that. You can't do all this in 5 minutes, bro. You should have been did this, man. All right. Verse 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the keepers of the house are basically talking about these elites, you know, they're the head of the so-called household, and the household is where? America, you know, and then ultimately you have like a global household, how these people and these international traders are fearing, you know, a global economic turndown, you know. But nevertheless, it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the strong men shall bow themselves. All right. And again, strong men, these elites and these big investors and so on and so forth, you know. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. All right. And the grinders cease. Well, let me keep reading and I'll break it down. It says, the grinders cease because they are few, and they that look out the windows are darkened, and the doors be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low. All right. So that's basically talking about, you know, basically work, you know, people going to work, your manufacturing plants going out of the country. You know, you have a lot of these call centers going out of the country. A lot of things is going overseas and things like that. So that's that grinding that's coming to a halt, man. It's ceasing, man. All right, like I was talking about at the beginning of this here lesson, you have all these underemployed and overemployed, overqualified and underemployed people, man. All right, and they talking about some, oh yeah, well, the unemployment rate then went down. Yeah, because a lot of people driving Uber. All right, they ain't got no real jobs, man. This is what it's talking about, the grind and cease, where people have to result to being cab and taxi drivers, man. All right, if they were still driving those little yellow cabs and stuff like that, and you ask a young Jake or a middle-aged Jake or even anybody here in America, man, you want to be a taxi driver when you get older? Well, how would you like taking a job being a taxi driver? Like, no, I don't want to be no taxi driver. But guess what? A lot of these people are doing these Uber and Lyft jobs right now because why? A lot of manufacturing jobs and these other jobs are all being shipped overseas, and they're not really over here no more, man. All right, there's really no good paying jobs out here no more, man. All right. And the cost of living is going up. Again, it can sound good on paper, you know, but you got to take heed to certain things. Like I know the gas station around here start you out at $15 an hour, and somebody was like, oh, that's good. Like, nah, bro. What happens if you've been working your way up to that $15 an hour? Now all of a sudden somebody can get this entry level job at $15 an hour. That really just put the economy and the cost of living down way lower, man. All right, because if you know, they should have a maximum wage more than a minimum wage. All right, because if the maximum wage is $10 an hour, then the richest of the rich people only make $10 an hour. All right, anything less than that, you know what I'm saying? You a lot closer to that $10 an hour than some people making six figures an hour. You know, I make 300,000 every hour or whatever, whatnot. You know, and so on and so forth. All right, but it says, verse 4 again, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird. You know, getting up early for work. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. You know, and right now you have this is like saying you know, you got the sad somber music or But ultimately, it's a sad song and a sad day for Babylon. You know, the jobs are all gone. You know, cost of living is going up. All these different things. Stock market is crashing. You know what I'm saying? And even worse, you got the coronavirus coming over here, man. You got this division amongst these people here. You don't know who's going to be in office next. So all these different things are happening. And guess what? Ultimately, these people are mourning. This is why you're seeing a lot of alcohol consumption, drug consumption, suicide, especially among these Edomites. You know what I'm saying? And all these different things taking place right now. Because why? People are in bonds. People are in tight spots, man. People are in these situations where they're living paycheck to paycheck and so on and so forth. I spoke about this in one of my prior videos about how they say that the majority of Americans can overcome a $400 emergency, and that's really talking about Esau, because Jake damn sure ain't got no $400. You may have some Jake, but Jake damn sure ain't got no $400 just sitting around the crib that, you know what I'm saying, well, shit, this is just for whatever day or whatever. If Jake got $400 extra dollars, you know, after his bills and stuff is paid, Jake gonna either try to flip that or gonna go buy some damn Jordans or some shit with that, man. All right, so ultimately, this is talking about Esau, but what? They all fearing right now, man. This is what's really going on with the consensus. Only Jake this following after with the media saying so on and so forth, like with this Acorn and Stash apps or whatever, whatnot. Oh, now it's a good time to go into the stock market, man. All right, nah, they pulling all their money out so you can put your money in. So when they collapse, the only people going to lose actual money is going to be you and this artificial money that we put in there anyway. They just zeros on the screen, but you're going to actually lose physical money in this because you actually put physical money in there, all right? But nevertheless, you know, I just wanted to do this here lesson. I wanted it to be a lot shorter than this, but I had to go in, you know, through the spirit and explain certain things because, again, you have our people that just take face value on things. Oh, you can go get a job anywhere. Go get an Uber job. They got Uber everywhere. Like, can you really pay any bills or pay your mortgage or anything, raise a family, driving Uber, working at McDonald's? Oh, McDonald's is higher. You go get your job at McDonald's. Like, bruh, I'm working backwards now. You know what I'm saying? I can't go get me a one-bedroom apartment nowhere working at McDonald's by myself, man. Not where the cost of living is around here, man. That ain't gonna happen, man. All right, but nevertheless, you know, you got people saying things like that. You know, oh, I got the new Stash app, the Acorn app, about to start investing into this. It's the best time to invest into the stock market. Like, yo, this was Esau's greatest secret, where he was making money while he was so-called asleep and investing in these things, putting money up or whatever, whatnot. But Jake didn't really have that and didn't know about that with their jobs with benefits. But now all of a sudden, this is all being encouraged for Jake. Why? Because Esau's pulling his money out so that you'll be the one, you the buffer zone. You're gonna be the one that's gonna take the fall when the economy ultimately collapses with the stock market and things like that. You're going to be the one that winds up losing out, all right? Esau going to have his money and be ran off with it, man, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, you were edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.